very much. Yeah. Hello, good morning and Jai Hind. It's indeed an honor and a pleasure to be here addressing the All India Association of Catholic Schools. I would like to thank Father Shah for extending the warm invitation. I would like to acknowledge all of you, the respected members of the dais, teachers, brothers, fathers, sisters, mothers. Though I am so sorry, I don't know much difference about the sisters and the mothers, but all I know is, as a small child, they would wear a robe and they would be very strict. I just know this much. So when I was a small child, very comfortable, very happy. So as a small child, I did my class nursery from the northeast part of India, from Arunachal Pradesh. My father was posted there. And I had heard stories. My mother had studied at Sophia School, Meerut. My father had studied at St. Joseph's College, Nainital. And so did his other two brothers. The elder one, who is in Egypt now, Ali Shah, the younger one, the famous popular actor, Mr. Nasiruddin Shah, they all were at St. Joseph's, Nainital. So my parents would say, the best education would be we would put our children in a convent school. So I was too young. I did not know what a convent school meant. And I used to keep hearing my parents speak to their friends. We will put our children in a convent school. So the word convent stays with me. Until my sister went to Sophia School, Meerut. I went to St. Joseph's College, Allahabad. My uncle also is from St. Mary's, Meerut. So we have a full convent school family and we are all convent educated. So it was a big status thing here. So I'm just studying in a convent, So you always feel very proud of that. So I heard stories as a small child. I remember the early 80s, by the way. In the early 80s, I was told that, the nuns, they would be so strict, they would tell you to trigger knuckles. And they would, if you make a mistake, they will rap you on the knuckles with the key. So you better behave yourself. We are putting in a convent, but you better behave yourself. So, and I told Father Shah this morning when I saw him in the robe, I saw him last evening in Candles. I said, sir, tell me. And it was, I tell you, but honestly speaking, jokes apart, the quality of convent schools is par excellence. Nothing in the world can match that. And the dedication and commitment of the teachers there, the missionary, I think the world should learn a lesson from their commitment. You people have no other focus but imparting good quality education on your children. It is something overwhelming. My father tells me, in St. Joseph's, Nainital, they were Irish brothers there at that time. So they would stay away from their families and they would only focus. They knew their students much better than their mothers knew them, by the way. And they understood them and cared for them even more. And same thing my mother tells me. So when I went to St. Joseph's in Allahabad, and I was overwhelmed when Advocate Raju gave me a call and he said, I'm putting you through Brother Shah, and of course, Brother Tommy is here. Brother Tommy, at first, he put me through to Brother Tommy and I was overwhelmed. My heart was beating 1,000 miles a day. I was like, my God, I'm speaking to a brother. It was the first time I was speaking to a brother on the phone. And last I speak was Father D'Souza or Father Anthony at St. Joseph's Allahabad, and they were very, very strict. Now coming to the point, when I was in St. Joseph's Allahabad, I remember it was the year 1988, and that time Father Anthony had read out a letter, who was the principal. He had read out a letter in our assembly, which many of you would have gone through, I am sure. It was a letter which was written by Abraham Lincoln to his son's teacher when his son was starting school. 88, and this is the year 2024. Imagine the effect it has had on me, and it's left me with an impression. And I've tried to follow that to the T. It read something like this: my son starts school today. It is all going to be strange and new to him for a while, and I wish you would treat him gently. It's an adventure that might take him across continents. All adventures that probably include wars, tragedy, and sorrow. But dear teacher, will you please take him by his hand and teach him things he will have to know. Teaching him, but gently if you can. Teach him that for every enemy, there's a friend. He will have to know that all men are not just. All men are not true. But teach him also that for every scoundrel, there's a hero. For every crooked politician, there is a dedicated leader. Teach him that 10 cents earned is of far more value than a dollar found. In school, teacher, it is far more honorable to cheat. It's far more honorable to fail than to cheat. Apologies. Teach him there is no shame in tears. Teach him there can be glory in failure and despair in success. Teach him how to laugh when he's sad. Teach him the wonder of books. But also give him quiet time to ponder about the extreme mystery of birds in the sky, bees in the sun, and flowers on a green hill. Teach him to have faith in his own ideas when everyone else tells him they're wrong. Try to give my son the strength not to follow the crowd when everyone else is doing it. Teach him to listen to everyone, but also to filter all that he hears on the screen of truth and take only the good that may come through. That he'll have the courage to be patient, that he'll have the patience to be strong, because only then will he always have sublime faith in mankind, in God. This is the order, teacher, but see what best you can do. He is such a nice little boy. And he is. So when I was having dinner last night, I said this to Brother Tommy. Brother Tommy told me that, another poem which has inspired him was Rudyard Kipling's If. There I can see a reaction. Many of you would like it, right? And that has been the battle of my life in a way, I would say. I have followed it to a T, and from the time I was a small child. This again was decided to us. This was decided to us by Father Anthony, who was heading the junior school at St. Louis, Allahabad. And the teachings of my fathers and brothers at St. Louis so many years, imagine their teaching. I haven't forgotten it till today. I am reciting it after years, after decades rather, I would say. But still I remember it. So this was, I give the credit not to my memory, by the way. No. It's to my teachers. Where? At St. Louis, Allahabad. When I say St. Louis, Allahabad, I mean symbolically all the missionary schools in the world, because the quality is the best. So Rudyard Kipling wrote, if you can keep your health when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for the doubting too, if you can dream and dream not make dreams your master, if you can think but not make thoughts your enemy, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, or bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to, look and stoop and build them up with one or two. If you can make one heel your weddings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose. And start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and soul to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings and not lose a common touch, if neither false nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, you're with the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son. And for our sisters and our mothers sitting here, for them not to be biased, you'll be a superwoman, my daughter. Okay? I'll tell you a small story, since I come from the army, and a real story. We all happened in being an army officer, I was trained to fight and to lay down my life if the need be, if our mother had called. And yes, most gladly and willingly and happily. But there was one belief that I always carried with me, that a gun would never get peace. A gun would only bring pieces. And if we are fighting an external enemy, like in the army we were trained for external aggression, then yes, use force, use gun, you have to defend your motherland at any cost. But, see, I served for many years. I grew up in the northeast, I told you. And I served in the northeast part of India as well. As brother and mother were witnessed yesterday too, when I basically called someone from the northeast part of India. So you were wondering why I'm calling that. I'm speaking them in their language. And perhaps they gave me a very good compliment after that. I believe in northeast part of India, I saw insurgencies in Nagaland. There was insurgency earlier in Mizoram. But talking about Nagaland and Mizoram, I would say I had a great time there, especially on Christmas Eve. Yeah. Amazing. I mean, that is a place you should see. Some of us are from Shillong. I met them in the lift. And if you go to Shillong, you celebrate Christmas there, out of the world. The hospitality, the functions are out of the world. So, this is a story. In the year 1999, we all know what happened. What happened? The Kargil War was on that time. But what I'm going to take away from this story, the end is on leadership first. Second, that there is no glory in war. It all sounds very good in movies. It all looks very good in movies. I mean, you would be the best people to educate your children about it. Your students about it. Because as small children, we like playing with guns, the boys especially. And we do all that. But it might look good in Hollywood movies. But in real life, the picture is actually totally different. I'll tell you the story. So in the year 1999, a senior of mine, very well respected, by the name of Captain Kangaroo, that's an English name. He hailed from Nagaland. And Captain Kangaroo was deployed at the line of control in Kargil at an altitude of 16,000 feet above mean sea level. The temperature was below minus 10 degrees centigrade. It was biting cold. So cold, there were snowflakes falling, and when the snowflakes would fall, they would actually cut into your skin very deeply. So Captain Kangaroo and his platoon of 10 brave men who had not had food, they had just returned tired from a long-range patrol. They got orders that there was a post of the enemy on top of a hill which was creating havoc and causing a lot of destruction and damage to the Indian side. Why? Because it was overlooking a highway, and a highway was a lifeline. All the food supplies, ration, ammunition, reinforcement will go through there. And if that is cut off, the enemy has an advantage over us, and plus the enemy was on an advantageous position. We were below. But Captain, and now what happened at night? At night, obviously, sound would travel faster. So if I put in one name, that will be multiplied by 20. So Captain Kanguze and his team of 10 brave men started the climb towards that post, which was to be not captured, recaptured. It was originally our post, which the enemy had taken away from us with breach of trust. Because there was a pact that when it's fighting cold and winters approach, both the sides will vacate the post, come down, and they'll reoccupy the post once the biting cold weather is over. But the enemy breached our trust and they occupied our post instead. So Captain Kanguze climbed. The enemy got wind of the fact that there was some movement happening from down below. So enemy got alert and they saw from their night vision binoculars our brave hearts being led by Captain Kanguze, the brave heart, right in front, climbing towards them. They waited for our brave hearts to come closer. Now, in the army, with a weapon, with a rifle, there is something known as a killing range of weapon and an effective range of weapon. Which means an effective range of a weapon would mean, for example, for you all to understand, supposing my rifle fires about 750 meters, does it mean that I see the enemy and open fire at 750 meters or 800 meters? No. I will wait for the enemy to close it, say about 50 or 100 meters, so that I can have maximum damage and maximum casualty upon the enemy. So the enemy similarly waited for our brave hearts to come closer. Now while climbing on the peak, snow-clad peak, Captain Kanguze's boots were slipping. So he did something unimaginable. In that biting cold, he removed his boots, threw them down on the peak, and tried to climb barefooted. When they were about 100 meters away, the enemy, who was sitting on top, an advantageous position, opened fire indiscriminately on our brave hearts. Everywhere there were bullets being sprayed. There was heavy gunfire happening from top. And in the army we are taught this tactics that whenever there is gunfire upon you, first shield yourself, defend yourself. Only when you survive can you attack upon the enemy. Without that you cannot. But there was no scope of survival because there was no shield, there was no cover. In that process, a young 24-year-old platoon commander, the leader, Captain Kanguze, gets a splinter injury in his abdomen. And 3 bullets went inside his abdomen. He took out his military belt. You know, you see the military belt, right? It's thick. He took out the military belt, tightened it further, closed it on his waist. So the blood was oozing out. It would ooze out but slowly, not as fast. And he turned around and told his men, I've been shot, but don't worry about me. Continue climbing on top. And the men kept climbing on top until Captain Kanguze reached the top of the hill. He was the first soldier among the entire platoon to reach on top. And immediately gave out a battle cry, a war cry, and he told his men, "Aaj mauka hai. Ek bhi dushman bach ke nahi jana chahiye. Fire karo!" And they fired on that. Until Captain Kanguze came face to face with the enemy soldier. Captain Kanguze, and there was only 1 meter difference and 1 meter distance with the enemy soldier. Captain Kanguze and the enemy soldier, Captain Kanguze and the enemy soldier. He had climbed with a rocket launcher around his neck, which is so heavy. You need 2 people to carry it, to rather operate it. One person carries, the other person loads, and then takes aim and fires. Is that difficult? I've only seen it only once earlier. I've seen it in real life, and not in real life. In real life, I would say, it being operated single-handedly. That was in this film, Hindi movie called Border. This was science zone, the big rocket launcher, right? That's all true, by the way, it doesn't happen that way. But here, Captain Kangaroo had carried the rocket launcher. Obviously, his agility had reduced. So when he was surrounded by the enemy soldier, using quick reflexes and presence of his mind, he took out his commando knife. He slit the 3 enemy soldiers who fell on the ground. He continued crawling towards the bunker, which was his objective, his aim, his task to destroy that. He reached very close to the enemy bunker, took out his rocket launcher from his neck, took aim, and fired on that bunker. And both the bunkers were destroyed. Just then, the enemy, which had got alert, obviously, they tried running from there, helter-skelter. And when they would run, they would not fire like this, because you use agility. They would fire this way, so that the troops who are chasing them, their heads are ducked down, and they would fire. But just as they were running away, a burst is a single shot, and then there's a burst. There's a burst. A burst of machine gun fire came and hit Captain Kangaroo, the Braveheart, who was already wounded previously, right on his chest, who fell from the cliff. Our Bravehearts went down to see how their brave platoon commander would be. And the enemy had run away by that time. They couldn't find Captain Kangaroo anywhere. Then in a crevasse, they found Captain Kangaroo lying there in a pool of blood. 3 bullets and a splinter in his abdomen. A burst fire had hit his chest. He had fallen from that height. So obviously his spinal cord had broken. His legs had twisted, his hand had twisted. But yet, he had not died. Why did he die? He didn't die because he had become a martyr, and martyrs never die. They become legends and live in our hearts and minds forever. The men were carrying the national flag with them in their rucksacks, which in the army language is the scaling, is called as a pittu jhola. So the men took out their national flag, they wrapped the body of the brave platoon commander, and they started climbing on top. And when they climbed on top, they planted the national flag on the hill, on the peak. They put the body of their brave platoon commander right next to that national flag. And our brave hearts, our men, our war soldiers, our battle-hardened soldiers cried. They wept. They howled like little babies. They cried not because they had won a war or a battle on a cliff. They cried because they had lost a brave platoon commander whom they very affectionately and lovingly called him Nemo Sahab, because his name was very long. And Nemo Sahab, I am told, would always wear a cross inside. And Nemo Sahab was extremely brave. And while crying, they said, "This victory is yours, Nemo Sahab. This hill is yours. From today onwards, this hill, this feature, would be known as Nemo Hill. If ever, any of you ever go to Kargil to see where the Indian Army fought bravely for your tomorrow, you'll find a very prominent feature over there in Kargil, known as Nemo Hill. That is the story of Nemo Hill. But the story doesn't end over here. When Captain Kangaroo's body was being brought back from Kargil to Dimapur. Dimapur is the commercial capital of Nagaland. The capital is Kohima, of course, but the airport is in Dimapur. Now Nagaland has got a lot of tribes. Like there are Aos who come from Mokokchung, the very famous district over there called Ali Shah district. Now there are different Aos as well. They are Chungli, Chankli, and there is Mungsun who would speak Mungsun. There are Angamis from Kohima, Zakhama. They celebrate the festival Sekrini. The Aos would celebrate Motsu or Songremo. There are Konyaks from Mon and Twinsang. There are Semas from Zoroboto. There are Lothas from Bokha. There are Chakisangs from Chakabama, Food Zero. So there are Rengmas, there are different tribes in Nagaland. And earlier, these tribes didn't have much unity. They would not identify themselves as a Naga. They would identify themselves either as Ao. Now Aos also they have like either Jamirs, Walings, Longkumars. There are different, so they had a lot of division amongst them. But you know what happened? 3 decades, 30 years of insurgency in Nagaland was forgotten on one single day, when the hero of the nation, Captain Kanguru's body was being brought from Dimapur airport till Kohima where his village was, and the entire Nagaland got together, they joined hands. Of course, the pandemic had not come that time, so after washing their hands, of course. And when Captain Kanguru's body was being brought on top, the whole Nagaland united, irrespective of the tribe or culture or village you are from, to greet him and to welcome him. And they all shouted in Hindi, Captain Kangaroo, Amar Rahe, long live Captain Kangaroos. And you know where he was buried? On a tombstone over there, written over there, very close by, written over there. How can a man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods? On another tombstone over there, and similar thing written in the Kohima World War Cemetery, where I was posted for many years, a couple of years, and read over there. It's written over there, when you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave our today. So, now I am trying to tell you that is leadership. Where you motivate your men into death. You sacrifice your life and your men follow you. Have you read this poem, Charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred Lord Tennyson? Yeah? Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death. Round the 600, forward the light brigade, charge for the guns, he said, into the valley of death, round the 600. Forward the light brigade, cannon in front of them, cannon to right of them, cannon to left of them, round the 600. It's a very, very nice poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson. I suggest, you must give it to your children, in fact. So, when your men follow you blindly, having faith in the leader, and when a good task is achieved, a good leader always says, oh, it's my team who's done all the work, I haven't done anything, right? But here, on the contrary, the platoon is saying, this victory is yours, Nemo Sahab. They're giving the leader the credit, who's not there with them anymore. That's true leadership. Why? Because a boss says I, a leader says we. A boss says get there on time. A leader says let's get there ahead of time together. A boss knows how it's to be done. A leader shows how it's to be done. A boss lets the people know where he stands. A leader lets the people know where they all stand together. A boss takes the credit, a leader gives it away. So most of you, all of you in fact, I would say are heads of schools, you all are leaders and you all are, I would say I have tremendous amount of respect and regard for all of you in fact. You know, whenever I see anyone in a robe, like Father yours, or anyone of the nuns, the sisters, I make it a point, even if I sit in a distance, I leave whatever I'm doing, wherever I am, I come and pay my respect. I will always say hello. I always greet them. Because it needs to be acknowledged. Thank you. It needs to be acknowledged, the good work that you all do. I mean it. It's coming straight from my heart. You know, I had prepared a long-winded speech actually, for you all. Full Angrezi, And what if someone calls me, come down the street, show your knuckles, and tuck, I can help you. So I better not go wrong anywhere. But I kept it aside completely. I said, let me talk to you from my heart, what I would feel. So what I had planned, I stayed up the entire night, burned the midnight oil, was completely different to what I'm speaking right now. I would like to give a short letter and I would leave it there. Talking about 1999 Gargle, I can go on. I have a small YouTube channel by my name, Major Dr. Ali Shah, so most of my talks are there. In case you would wish to watch, you can see them. The letter is written by Captain Vijayant Thapar, a 22-year-old braveheart who got a Veer Chakra. Captain Kangulik was awarded the Mahavir Chakra, the second highest award for gallantry in the face of the enemy for his gallant action, posthumous. I know Captain Kangulik's family personally very, very well. I know his parents, I know his sister, I know his brother Kevin. I know that beautiful family, wonderful family. His father was the only earning member, was a school teacher, and thereafter came Captain Kangulik. So anyway, so I'll tell this letter, I'll end over there. The letter is written by Captain Vijayant Thapar, who got a Veer Chakra in the Kargil Wars as well. He wrote, my loving Papa, Mummy, Granny and Bertie. By the time this letter reaches you all, I will be observing you all from the skies, enjoying the hospitality of Apsaras. I have no regrets. In fact, if I were to be born again as a human, I would choose to join the army and serve my nation. Whichever organ needs to be taken, should be taken and donated. Please donate some money to the orphanage and continue giving ₹50 to Ruxana every month. And please go and meet Yogi Baba. I hope the sacrifice of these brave men is remembered and inspires generations to come. I hope a picture of mine is kept in the Alpha Company Mandir next to Karni Mata. Papa, you must be proud. Mama, so must you. Mama ji, please forgive me for anything wrong that I may have done. Anyhow, it's about time I go and join my clan of Dirty Dozen. My assault party has 12 chaps. Live life, king size, yours, Robin, Jai Hind. And I will conclude by saying Jai Hind to all of you, because Jai Hind is one greeting which is not pertaining or affiliated to any community, caste, creed, region, religion. It is for one whole, for our great nation. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.